Hello and welcome to Geek Weekly, your audio newsletter for everything geek speak. Here we talk about movies, television, video games, and so much more. Your co-hosts today are Rob Coughlan and Jeremy Mullet. My name is Chad Moores. Let's geek out. Welcome to Geek Weekly's weekly Top 6. Today's Top 6 is going to be our Top 6 road trip movies, celebrating my friend Rob being right next to me physically because he took the road trip from Massachusetts to Maine, the 90-minute drive. Not very long, but hey, he did take it to come up to see me for the weekend. So Rob is right next to me. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Wonderful. So we're going to do the top 6 now. We're actually going to start right away. Rob, I'm going to let you go. What is your first movie?
Steve Martin, John Candy, starring planes, trains, and automobiles.
Wonderful movie.
Wonderful movie. Just the chemistry that they had throughout that entire film couldn't be beat.
I have to say that there's one thing about Steve Martin is that he is able to have good chemistry with almost anyone that he has been with. I always find that. Now, not that he's done a movie in years, and the last movie he did, I think, was probably Cheaper by the Dozen 2, which was horrible. But regardless, if we're just mentioning most of his classics, which is almost every movie he's been in, honestly, he's always had great chemistry with every actress or actor on screen.
Big banjo player, Steve Martin.
Yes, he's also kind of weird in real life. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, a little bit. But, you know, when you're rich, you can afford to be a little weird.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, he's hosting an art exhibit. Did you know this? At the MFA right now. It's closing in a couple of days, but he's got an impressionist artist that he's, like, absolutely in love with.
Should we go now? Should we make a road trip to get there?
We should make it a road trip, I think so.
Yeah.
Because I think it's only until about the 13th or so. So, gonna act on that quick.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go next.
Please.
Okay, so my first one, Zombieland.
Yes.
Yeah. Zombieland. You know, and again, you have to understand that road trip movies are not just, like, I didn't even realize this was a road trip movie until we were kind of doing some research on it, and I said, this is actually the movie that got me into zombies. Not even joking. I was not into zombies. I didn't really like horror films in any way, shape, or form. I didn't like gore, but there was something about this movie that was absolutely incredible. Yeah. Absolutely. And I loved the chemistry that they all had. I love Bill Murray. His little cameo in this. I just shot Bill Murray.
Is he being funny? Is he being funny or is he dead?
No, he's dead. Yeah, oh. No, he's gone.
Let's throw his body over the side.
Oh my god. And just that, like, that is so creative. Is that where they got the idea from, like, you know, from The Walking Dead? Although I think the comic book must have been out before that. But in Walking Dead, they would kill a walker and put it all over them.
Yep.
You know, but in this one, he just dressed up, you know what I mean?
Yes, he did. He says this line in perfect Bill Murray way. I'd like to go out and do stuff. Just played 9 holes on the Riviera. Just walked on. Nobody there. That and do you have any regrets? Garfield, maybe. Perfect.
It's just a funny movie and just really well done. And you actually, are they finally doing a sequel? I heard that there's a sequel finally coming out. And it's been forever. People have been wanting because it did so well.
It did do so well.
And it really does deserve.
2009. Just look that up. 2009.
That's a while ago.
10 years. That's close. Yeah. That's what, 7?
I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is 7. And for me, you know what's really interesting is that all the characters that are in this are now all really huge stars.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of like Emma Stone. She was basically a nothing at that point, and now she's huge. She's absolutely huge.
I think Matt was probably like her breakthrough movie, quite honestly.
Probably. And then
there's or maybe possibly Superbad. Possibly Superbad.
And I'm sorry, what's the girl's name? Abigail is her name. Abigail Breslin. Yep, and she's actually in one of my other top movies.
Little tie-in again.
Enough,
which... See, we're all about tie-ins here.
Yeah, we did that the last time for the top 6. Yeah. So speaking of that, why don't we move into yours? What's your next one?
It's an oldie, but a goodie. It's a mad world.
So there's 4 Mads there?
Fairly certain that there are exactly 4
Well, you should
Mads.
be checking that while you're telling me.
4 Mads exactly.
Okay, so what is this movie?
This movie, in a sense, is Rat Race. Very similar premise because Rat Race was directly influenced by It's a Mad World and a couple of other films, but I digress. This movie stars all of your top billed actors. Milton Berle, Sid Caesar, Buddy Hackett, Ethel Merman, Mickey Rooney, the list goes on. And essentially the plot is Spencer Tracy is a police detective. Sort of down on his luck, his wife, his daughter, they're driving him crazy. He knows that there's going to be a big score that's going to happen that specifically Jimmy Durante has put on. Now, unfortunately, due to a tragic series of events, his car drives off of a cliff and he dies. But before doing so, these characters all meet Jimmy Durante, where he starts ranting and raving about there's 350 G's hidden in Santa Barbara under a big W, I tells you. And this is just all of them finding ways by air, by land, to get to this park in Santa Monica, Santa Barbara, wherever it is specifically, to get this money before the others do. Point and simple.
Yeah, well, you were telling me about this earlier, and you said that he kicks the bucket, but literally kicks a bucket.
Literally.
Yeah,
kicks the bucket.
For me, I don't know what movie it was that I saw, but I remember that as a joke, someone kicked a bucket. I don't know.
Hot to Trot, I know, was also a movie where they kind of used that similar joke.
Maybe.
You know, where
I couldn't.
John Candy's horse was talking to his older father horse, who was played by the gentleman who played Mickey in Rocky movies. Hey, you're a bum. You know, that guy.
You're a bum.
Yeah, he kicks the bucket, but we're sidetracking.
Moving on. I am ready for my second would be Little Miss Sunshine.
Now, I haven't seen that one. Tell me a little bit about this one.
Oh my gosh. You have to see it. I would have to say it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
It seems like it's made that way. But it's a very well known. It has Uma Thurman.
Yep.
It has Steve Carell and Abigail Breslin, who this is her first movie, I think.
And then Greg Kinnear, correct?
Yes. Yeah. And this is Abigail's first movie that I can think of, and she got really big after this movie.
Signs? Did Signs come out
Signs
before?
probably came before.
Because she played the daughter of Mel Gibson in Signs.
I didn't even realize that.
But continue.
Regardless, this one really brought her out. It was like, all of a sudden, she was just in all these movies, and she just did a lot of movies after this. But I have to say, it's a very funny movie. Steve Carell was great, as he always is, and as you know, I love Steve Carell. But you're asking me about the movie. Basically, she wants to go to a beauty pageant, and so her family doesn't have a lot of money or anything like that, and they're just freaking nuts. They're all freaking nuts. And putting them in one van, like this van that's broken down and basically does not work, they all have to run outside the van and push it, and then once it starts going, they all have to run on the side of the van and hop in like it's a moving train, because they can't stop. If once they stop the van, the engine stops.
It just stops.
So they have to literally push the van until it will start running on its own, and then they all have to run in and grab each other and swing them into the van. That's like one of the running jokes that they have, because it happens all the time.
This is the Back to the Future geek sort of interrupting here, but wasn't their van the exact same VW Volkswagen bus that the Libyans use? Wasn't it like the same thing, only like theirs was yellow?
Yeah,
I think it was yellow.
Basically.
Yeah. I think I'm vaguely remembering this.
Well, one of the things is that you don't know what her talent is. So once she finally gets into the beauty pageant, the running joke is that she literally does like this very provocative dance, and her family sees that she's bombing, so the family they get up from the audience and start dancing with her provocatively. And you know, Abigail's like in the single digit numbers of age here, and so it's like
it's almost like the equivalent of Jersey Girl, where she performs like Sweeney Todd. God, that's good, and like the audience is like,
yeah, they're just open-mouthed and wide-eyed, yeah. And it's hysterical. She does not win, but it's a very, very good movie. I'd have to say it's kind of like watching, God, what is that movie that just came out? It had Jennifer Aniston. It's another road trip movie.
Oh, We're the Millers.
We're the Millers, which is...
With Jason Sudeikis.
That is hysterical.
That movie is hilarious.
That is hysterical movie. It's basically that, except they're related.
Yeah.
That's, and a little less raunchy, but you'd have to think of it that way. That is basically their dynamic.
Black Hawk Down?
Oh, God. I freaking love that movie. I wish I had put that in my top.
Honorable mention.
Let's move on. What do you have?
All right. Well, my last is probably going to be one that's very near and dear to my heart. Vacation. The original, not the trip to skip with Ed Helm. I recently saw that. I wasn't particularly a fan of their brand of
I saw that
humor.
like 3 weeks ago. It was no good.
Yeah. Not at all.
Which is sad, because I really like Christina Applegate. She doesn't do a lot.
Yeah.
And she's very talented. I liked her in she had her own sitcom called Samantha Who, which actually had Melissa McCarthy was in it. It was before she became big. It was after Gilmore Girls, but right before Bridesmaids came out. It was very good. And unfortunately, that show got canceled because Christina Applegate got breast cancer. So that got ultimately canceled, even though it was very good. It had 2 seasons. Very amazing show. If you can ever find a way to watch it, please do. It's very good. And it does have a pretty good conclusion to it. There's one little cliffhanger, but it's not that big of a deal because you know that it will end up well if they did continue. But I do have to say that Christina Applegate is wonderful. I just wish that she had picked a better movie.
Absolutely. And also, I don't know if you know this, his cousin Eddie, their daughter is Jane Krakowski. I think that was probably like her first movie. She played Cousin Vicky, the original Cousin Vicky. For those of you who may not know Jane, she was on 30 Rock.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, Kimmy Schmidt. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yes.
So
yes,
now you're starting to hopefully get that. Yeah, right here. Looking at it, IMDb doesn't lie.
Yeah, that's exactly what she was. That was her first movie.
Kid knows his stuff.
Not her first thing, though. Apparently, she did right before that. She did an ABC Weekend Special.
Yeah, who the hell cares about TV series? No, I'm sorry. What?
But I love her, especially in Kimmy Schmidt. I think she's very funny in that. I love that she drinks diet water. I wonder if she learned everything from Vacation.
Chevy Chase is not a bad understudy.
Nope. Chevy Chase, you don't get much better than him. It's too bad he hasn't done
anything of value.
No, nothing really recently, unless you can count. Community was a great show.
Yeah.
Well, was either really good or really bad at points, but his character was horrible.
Yeah. No.
Did you ever watch Community?
I haven't. No.
No.
Not
it's
a big sitcom
Yeah,
guy.
I know. You really don't do that, but there's a lot of really wonderful episodes on Community.
Maybe you'll play me an episode.
Definitely will. You know what I'll do is that we'll make that your homework.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll make that your homework, and then you'll talk about it.
Segment soon to come.
Good segue. Okay, should we move on?
Yeah, it's yours.
I think this is the kind of the coup de la grace, don't you think?
I believe so.
Yeah? I mean, this is, especially in our time, I think in our time, this is the best road trip movie.
Millennial. Yeah.
Yep, I really do think that way. And so, last but not least, Euro Trip.
Fantastic movie. The scene with them, with the soccer hooligans. Oh my God.
Pretty
damn good.
Pretty damn good. I like the Miss Scusi.
Oh,
And it's like, and he's like, oh my God, what? Long tunnel.
You know, I loved him in that movie, but I'm not really a huge fan of like the character stuff that he's done, like Portlandia. I just don't understand their brand of humor.
No, I've never really liked it. But
yeah,
in
that's
that
probably
movie,
like the only role I've seen him in that I've kind of like, maybe aside from like the crazy guy in Kimmy Schmidt.
I'd have to say that Euro Trip was definitely one of the last movies that was made in that genre of comedy.
Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't know. I know that song by heart. I listen to it. It comes on my phone all the time on my iPhone. You know, I drive my clients around. Yeah. I work as a brain traumatic injury CNA, and I have to bring them to this place called the Day Program, which is kind of like an adult daycare to a certain extent. And that song will come on, and they freaking love it. They're dancing and they're going, Scotty doesn't know the feeling in me. And they know the whole song just like me. And I turn it up all the way. And if it's Sunday, you know, and we just go at it.
Matt Damon's cameo on that was priceless.
Oh my gosh. And you know that the girlfriend, she plays Lana Lang in Smallville. She is one of the hottest girls. Go back and look at her. She is so hot. She is the one person in this world I would break up with Tammy in a heartbeat just to boop her nose. Just to boop her nose. That's it. Just go boop. And that's it. I would literally, and Tammy
just
would.
for that.
Yeah.
You'd sell your everlasting soul for that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And honestly, there's so many great. I mean, like the kid that's hailing Hitler.
Oh my God. Yes, the kid. He actually even takes the freaking Sharpie and like draws
the
mustache on his face.
And he's smiling.
Oh my God.
And the guy that looks like David Spade, doesn't he? The guy's companion with the blonde hair. He's the guy that's like, just keep rubbing it.
Yeah.
I always felt like he was a younger version of David Spade. Doesn't he remind you of a young David Spade?
A little, yeah.
Am I thinking of David Spade as the right person, right?
I don't know.
He's in Rules of Engagement.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'm right. All right. Going back, though, I think it's one of the last movies that was in that comedy drama. We were talking about how there are certain movies that you could... Euro Trip is one of those movies that if you had brought it out now, it would not have done nearly as well as it did then.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. People just wouldn't understand the humor.
It's just a different time. You know what I mean? It's just the same with like all Jim Carrey movies. You know, I'll say it again. If Dumb and Dumber or Ace Ventura or The Mask had come out now, the same exact movie, it would not have done...
They'd tank.
it would have tanked. Everyone would have like, what the hell did we just watch? And that's what makes it so special. And that's what I love about Eurotrip, is that it's one of the last movies that have been made in that genre and in that golden age of comedy, which just won't. It's unfortunate that it will never come back that way. I really don't feel like that it will. Now we have Seth Rogen. That's about it. We don't have Jim Carrey anymore. The closest we got probably now is Steve Carell, which thank God we still have Steve Carell and like Paul Rudd and Jason Segel.
Yes.
You know, people like that, but they just don't do enough to keep me afloat.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think it's almost getting to be around the point where even their movies are probably going to start to make not as much.
Well, Jason Segel hasn't done a movie in, what's the last one? Yeah, the Muppets, and even before that, I mean, if you're thinking about his own movies, really, it was Sex Tape, which was, it wasn't bad. But it wasn't a Jason Segel movie. No. I'm thinking of like I Love You Man,
Sarah Marshall,
and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Two of my favorite movies for comedies. They're very, very good. Anyways,
with a perfect top 6 such as that, you can also go without the honorable mentions.
Mention them, dude.
Tommy Boy, Black Sheep, kind of almost different concepts, but basically the same movie. I mean, your classic Farley Spade movies of that 1990s era. Rain Man, Rat Race, Smokey and the Bandit. Love that movie. Seen it a couple 100 times at least easily. Yep. Cannonball Run, Sideways, Road Trip, another one of your favorites. Didn't edge out Euro Trip, but Road Trip was also
probably one of the first road trip movies that I've seen when I was in my younger years.
Mad Max, even kind of a road trip movie.
Yeah,
besides
it's just that they're in the car the whole freaking time. Yeah. I'd have to mention a couple more that are not on this list though, and I'd have to say Harold and Kumar, the first
White
one,
Castle,
at least that's the only one that's really worth
most
mentioning.
of them actually have been in a sense. Even the Christmas one that they did was somewhat of a road trip based movie as well.
No, they all are. I'm just saying that really the only one worth mentioning.
They literally were on a road
one.
trip to White Castle. I agree.
Yeah, and I'd have to say there's another one that people don't really know about. It's called Father's Day. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It has... Who's the guy that plays Mike Wazowski? What's his name? Billy Crystal. Thank you. I don't know why I always blank on his name. Billy Crystal and Robin Williams. They're best friends in real life. It's the only movie they ever did together. It's incredible. Again, it's called Father's Day. Go and watch it. It's incredible. It's an old classic. Go and do that. And you can read off the other ones.
Sure. Just a couple of other ones. Dumb and Dumber. Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise did. When they got the blues.
Actually, even, believe it or not, Wayne's World. Also sort of a road tripping movie. Not so much in the first one, but I think in the second one where they were on that quest to find the perfect venue to do the new Woodstock.
Yes. Yep. You know what? And I didn't realize how many road trip movies there are.
Yeah.
But a huge portion of road trip movies are classics.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute classics. And so I'm glad that we picked this as our top 6. I hope you guys enjoyed the top 6. Thank you so very much for tuning in.
So we hope you enjoyed our top 6. If you have any suggestions, you think we missed anything, please feel free, shoot us an email. We're more than happy to hear back from you about it. Otherwise, I hope you have yourself a great evening and take care.
See you around. We conclude today's podcast with a few reminders. If you have any comments or questions, shoot us an email at geekweekly@chadanmfilms.com. Please consider following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links are provided below. Don't forget to like, share, laugh, and most importantly, love. From all of us at Geek Weekly, thanks for listening. This has been a Chadam Films production.